welcome back to a brand new episode of the Who What Now Gaming Podcast. Podcast for consumers by consumers, where we ask the questions: who are you, what got you into gaming, and what type of gamer are you now? I am your humble host, Josh Stewart, and today we are met with a fantastic, exclusive interview today. Going with, besides obviously having a hand in literally everything and being amazing at it, and some of the most delicious pumpkin cheesecake muffins I think I've honestly ever seen. Content creator, kick streamer, Twitch streamer, Sarahtooswift. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? That intro, ooh, top tier. I love it.
Thank you.
And those pumpkin cheesecake muffins, we're definitely making them again. Oh man,
You definitely have. They looked amazing.
they were
I'm
so good.
It honestly it mashed my two favorite things, which was just muffins and cheesecake. Honestly,
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes.
it's so good. Well done.
Maybe I'll even mix it up a little and do like a blueberry cheesecake muffin or something. You've
Ooh.
inspired me. Look at that already.
Oh.
Already.
Man, that sounds so good.
It does sound
Uh,
good, actually.
I'm such a foodie. It's my weakness. I'll tell you
Oh,
what. It's
I love baking. Baking is like straight to the heart. I love it so much. It's so good. It's like therapy almost too.
I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. I wish I was better at cooking and baking. I love to do it, but
Yeah.
it has gotten to the point where I'm the only one in the house that eats it. So,
It's like
it's
that sometimes though. It's
yeah,
okay. It's a
it's a
learning
trade-off.
process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, hey, I think it's delicious, so more for me, I guess, but
Yep. That's
whatever.
all that matters.
So let's just dive right into it. So for anyone listening, tell our viewers, our listeners, and anyone whoever comes across us in our future, who are you as a person, as a streamer, as a content creator? What are you all about?
I am Sarah. I'm a 30-year-old mom of two boys. I was a stay-at-home mom for like 8 years. And then I recently separated from my husband. So we're going to school full time. So full time student and everything. Um, Streaming, how do I even, so as a stay-at-home parent, I like, obviously we had to switch and stuff because of the kids. I
Sure.
started a Twitter account to like promote my Animal Crossing stuff because there was a lot of people on there that I interacted with and like could trade with and stuff like that. So it started like that, and my account just slowly got bigger, and then a lot of people on there pushed me to start streaming, so I was like, well, why not? So I started streaming like Stardew Valley on the Xbox, or like just a few games like Xbox games, and with no cam, just a headset mic, nothing special, and got affiliate pretty quickly, and then built myself
Nice.
up to like having a cam, having everything. Once I separated from my husband, I had to get everything back, and like I couldn't have done that without my amazing community and my best friends. Like they bought my PC. I ended up getting my new mic from my Twitch payout, like all this stuff. And then I lost that account in June of this year.
Oh no.
So Sarahtooswift is a rebrand. So it's new, but we're getting there, and we reached affiliate on Twitch recently. So we're making progress. We'll get there on Kick. It's slow. I'm still learning, but there's lots. But I couldn't have done it without my friends, my community, like backing behind me, because it was like the end of the world for a moment. You know what I mean? Like, not to be that way, but like you work so hard for something and it's just gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Like you have to start over. So
Yeah, I think unfortunately I think too many people can absolutely relate to that.
yeah.
I'm so happy that you were able to find and create and build such an amazing community. Shout out to the community, because it really takes old saying where it's like it takes a village to like raise a kid kind of thing. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I've always kind of like thought the same when it comes to being a content creator or a streamer and stuff. Like, you do it for the viewers, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I always kind of make a comparison, and I did this on stream, like I think it was like last weekend or something. where I was like, I was having so many unbelievable technical difficulties, and it was just got to the point where I was like, hey, like, we're just gonna end stream tonight, and it's
Yeah.
not because like I'm being grumpy or a grouchy moment or so. Like, I'm doing this for all of you. Like, I enjoy being entertaining. I
Yeah.
enjoy doing what I'm doing. Like, I don't need a camera, computer, the graphics cards, the mics, what, I don't need all that to play a game. Like, I can just play a game.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this because I truly love to do this with all of you. And I think that it's a huge shout out to the communities, and also an even bigger shout out to you and your success in doing so, to build something and then lose it all and then bring it all back up. Like, it's incredible. Like, it's, and how,
Yeah.
I've actually do have a question kind of popped up in my head just now. How is Kick? Do you enjoy it? I have not tried it.
I honestly, I'm still, again, I'm getting used to it. I don't know much about it. I dabble here and there, but I've met some really amazing and kind people on Kick, and like through Twitter that stream on Kick, and like educational and like good, you know what I mean? Because I feel like Kick is downed on a lot and has a lot of negative
Yeah.
press towards it because of a lot of the demographic, but there are so many good, genuine people out there, like, that just want to do better and want to promote better and help people. And like, it's just, I enjoy it. I do. I think the community is a lot more connected there, if that makes sense, versus on
Yeah,
Twitch. I feel like
absolutely.
Twitch has it, like, everybody is uplifting for the most part, but it's more of a competition for sure, especially with the way they're running
Yeah,
stuff now lately.
I
Like,
believe that.
so I feel like Kick has a lot more of a community behind it. So like, I'm definitely excited to see where it goes, for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the streaming part. I'm still very new to the streaming aspect. I've been doing the podcast much longer than I have streaming.
Okay.
But I thought, one day that I was like, hey, I mean, we have a whole podcast about gaming. And I was like, why
Yeah.
not just like also like game? And
Right.
and so that's what I've only been, I think, maybe 2 months at maybe, I
Oh
think.
yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
So we're not quite at affiliate yet, but honestly, I've been having an absolute blast. Just we have a lot of like of viewers who are like coming back every time
Yeah.
and hanging out in chat, and that truly has
That's
been so
That's where
fun
it
and
hits
so
the
special.
best, is when you
Yeah.
get the reoccurring people who just come back, and then they'll set notifications for you and like set time aside to make sure they'll pull you up during work. It's like, it's
Yeah.
so crazy. Like, and I usually average, maybe not so much now. I'm averaging like 7 viewers now. Um, Before I was averaging like 10 to 20, anywhere in between there. And just that's like a whole classroom full of people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
Yeah.
just take time out of their day to come hang out with you. It's like, it's so amazing. I've been September would have been my 2 year affiliate on my old account, and I just hit it the beginning of this month on my new one. So like 2 years,
Hey.
3 years. Yeah.
All
So
right.
a little bit into it, but I'm still like, I don't have all the new fancy stuff. I just play cozy games with my friends, and like sometimes the occasional like Fortnite or something, you know what I mean? But,
Right.
or Overwatch, but like, we just do it for the vibes. It's not like a super serious, you know what I mean? Especially being a part-time streamer, like, I take priority in my kids, my real life. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
There's a lot of stuff that I've got to put aside, the school, all that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you got to find the balance for sure. But man, when you first start, oh, it's so good. It's such a humbling experience. I love it so much.
Well,
That
I'm
rush.
actually really happy you said that, because not to sound like a creep, but
Oh
every
gosh.
time before I reach out to everybody, I do, check out everybody's content and check out, what you have in like your profiles and stuff,
Yeah.
and the list of things that you have going on in your life, and also like streaming and content creating and stuff. And I was like, I have to reach out, because I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous. Like, this, you have so
Yeah.
much on your plate. Like, how do you balance everything? Like, do
Mm.
you, we here on the show, and especially in like the community that follows this show, we're very, very big on like, making sure that you do take time for your own mental health. And mental health is extremely important to us. So how do
100%.
you balance all of these things?
I take mental health so extremely seriously.
Oh, good.
I suffer from bipolar disorder, and I also have PTSD. Um, so I definitely prioritize mental health. I'm actually, shameless little plug. I hope you don't mind. I'm
Please
a
plug
community
away.
manager for a men's mental health organization called Alpha Dogs, and they are,
Wonderful.
yes, they are amazing. There's so many amazing people in that community, and they're really trying to end that stigma that surrounds mental health, especially for men. They obviously take everybody. It doesn't matter what gender you are or whatever you choose to identify as. They're open with welcome arms. But the balance, it's hard to find. Um, Especially with where my life is at right now. It's been kind of crazy, to be honest. Like, I was with my husband for 8 years, so we separated, and he moved states away. So it went from like having somebody there, sort of, to not at all. And like, it was already kind of all on me, but now it really is like every moment. And it just got really hard really fast. Um, and it was a little hard to balance at first, especially because it was my first semester of school and college and everything. Like, it was just a lot. And then they my kids went with their dad for the summer, so it got a little bit easier to balance because I had a lot more free time. But that's right when my Twitch account had got banned, so I had to start all over. I don't know if I would have had it in me if I had to dedicate the time to them. I don't know if I could have. You know what I mean? The energy
Right.
that it requires, it's exhausting. So it's been it's been a blessing in disguise, like having that time to myself, but also to like figure myself out again too and find out who I am and like what
Of
I
course.
enjoy. And again, that ties into the prioritizing, like the time, like your time, how you balance it all, because like you do have to find things that you enjoy, because just because you aren't streaming doesn't mean that you're like prioritizing yourself outside of it. I've seen a lot of people that will get behind a screen and stream and be like, oh, mental health this, mental health that. But when they get off the screen, they do not prioritize it. It's a joke. And they just go through life like that. And it's like, you're not going to get anywhere if you keep that mindset. Like, it's so you got to find a balance. That's my only like, how you said about like if you're genuinely not feeling it, that's me 100%. I like, if I can tell I'm having a really bad mental day, I will not stream. My content shows like what mood I'm in, you know what I mean? So I try to like pull it back. But also, you don't want to just show your viewers just happy you all the time. Like, it's okay to let them know that like you are struggling, you are a real person, you have these emotions, you have these feelings. Like, it's just what you do with them. Yes.
Thank
A lot of people
you.
forget that too. Like,
Thank
it's how you
you.
react with them and how you promote them that matters. So I try to be pretty open with my community and like the people that follow me, that like, hey, I don't have it in me. Like, this is gonna get deep. I lost my dad 2 years ago to suicide. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I am very transparent when it comes to things like that. Like, any type of, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, like, if I notice people on the timeline are struggling, I'm always there to like uplifting comments. If you need a DM, like, I don't mind that. I also have to have a balance for it. And the biggest way I've created a balance, at least for me, and I know this won't work for a lot of people because they prioritize like the business aspect of streaming and
Of
stuff,
course.
I turned all my notifications off. I have no notifications from any
Hmm.
social media that go to my phone, not even Discord at this point. Even being a community manager for a Discord oriented mental health organization, I still, when I'm at my PC, absolutely, it's all on there. Like, I'll get every notification. I'll check my phone still periodically for those socials, but that's the time I dedicate to them,
Of course.
because it became too much of like, the instant gratification of it. You know what I mean? You see a notification, you pick it up, you drop it back down, you like scroll on it for a minute and you put it back down, and then you see another one. And it's like, just, it took too much of my mental space, and I couldn't give a genuine connection to somebody when I'm not really all there.
Right.
So yeah.
Wow. First off, thank you so much for sharing all of that. That is, I
That
think
was a lot.
you, I think you honestly, I think you nailed it. I think so much of what you said hit so home, for me. Mental health is so important, and I'm not, perfect, so I definitely like fall into the, I would much rather, it's sometimes it's easier to help somebody else go through, the mental blockage than it is to
Hmm.
kind of accept and deal with your own.
Yeah.
And I've definitely fallen in that category a few too many times. But and that's something that I'm very open and honest about with, the show, and while I'm streaming, like, everyone knows sometimes, probably more times than not, I share way too much. And But that's me, but I don't put a show on like how I am on the podcast and how I am on stream. That's me, like,
Yeah.
99% of the time. Um, and it's really cool to hear, how much you care, for, like, especially like the mental health side of all of this. It's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like inspiring, and it did hit me like pretty hard. Like, that was really good, and I don't think enough people accept that sometimes.
Right.
Especially as content creators, burnout is a real thing. um
100%.
and it's when it comes to like the phone, I'm very much guilty of it. I
It's so
it's
easy to
it's really
fall
bad.
into. It's so
Yeah,
hard.
I'm so guilty of it, and it's gotten to the point now where, like, I've been better. Like, when I go to work, my like, I'm also like, I do this on the weekends, and I stream on the weekends and Monday mornings. I work a night job.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is something that is like, I wake up with like a million notifications, or
Hmm.
when I'm reaching out to people for, whether it be for streaming stuff or with like my community, with my friends, my family. When it comes to like having guests and stuff for the podcast, a lot of this stuff is done, like, I dedicate that time for when I get home from work, which is also meaning that I'm accepting that I'm not going to get a response probably for a little while, because I don't get
Right.
home until about 3 a.m. So I'm like, I don't, by the time I'm sitting down and answering messages or sending messages and stuff, no one's awake,
Right.
so it's kind of
Very
this
few.
thing. Huh?
Very few people.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And it's very, it has been nice to on like my own mental health, because I know that I'm not just going to sit there and wait for like a response, and it's been
Yeah.
nice. But it also does mean that, like, when I wake up in the morning and I'm, trying to like get ready for the day, and I'm having like some coffee, I'm just like going through, just swiping and swiping, and
Yeah.
sometimes it does get to a point where I'm like, I just got to put the phone down, I'll just leave it somewhere, and
It
that's
gets that
just,
way so fast, and it builds like, I feel like once it happens, it'll happen faster and faster and faster every
yeah.
time, and it'll just build and spiral. So I like, you really like finding a balance to that. Oof, is the best thing for you, honestly. Like, having set time to dedicate towards socials, to posting, to whatever, however you want to do it. Because some people like do the scheduled posting or whatever, but like, it just, you really have to figure out the balance to it. It's not
Yeah,
easy.
I haven't even figured out the scheduling game yet. I whenever I do like a, an episode, or I want to promote something, it's whenever I have a chance to, I'll
Yep.
throw it out there. And
Same.
like, I get like a reminder from like TikTok all the time. It's like, hey, you haven't
Hmm.
posted in a while, and I'm like, hey man, why
I'm
don't you let
working
me
on
do
it.
my, yeah, I'm
Chill.
like, let me do my
Yes.
thing, all right? Like,
Let me cook.
Yeah, I don't have time to
Yeah.
post it. Listen, I like to create the content, but I don't just have like thousands of things going on
Right.
all at the same time where I'm just like, this would be awesome to post and post and post. I'm like, I'm not
Exactly.
quick
Well,
about it, you know?
and a lot of people take like they don't I feel like it takes a lot more dedication to put into a podcast versus like a TikTok is like a quick few minute thing unless
Mm-hmm.
you're taking clips from what you're doing, and when you put more time into that content, like it shows. So
Yeah.
TikTok just needs to chill.
Listen, I agree. TikTok, I hope you're listening
Bro,
because
big facts. TikTok, get it together.
I'm telling you, because I'll post clips from the episodes, and then TikTok will be like, "Hey, this one's not getting enough views because it's the same as the last one." I go, "No, it's not. It's just
It's
the same
different.
me and the
Right.
same guest
Oh
from the
my
last
god.
clip because it's the same episode." And like they're like, "Oh, it looks exactly the same," and I'm like, "Well, read it, you know." Like, it's
That's
not.
crazy. Oh my god. TikTok for real.
Uh, but yeah, it's something else. Um, but I did want to kind of go back to a earlier part of our conversation when you mentioned your community. What would you say
Yes.
the best part of whether it be your community or like having the community or like what's your favorite part about as soon as you hit the start stream button and that community is coming to check your stuff out and to hang out with you and laugh and be goofy and stuff, like what is that favorite part of that to you?
Um I I'm so not indecisive, but like I just enjoy so much of it. You know what I mean? From them taking the time out of their day just to come say hi or whatever, or just even to see who it is that comes and says hi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then lately, if I'm being honest, it's been a lot of people who have been like quietly lurking, popping in, and
Love the
I like
lurkers.
I'll have no idea. They won't say lurk or anything. I'll have
Yep.
no idea they're watching, and I'll just like go on with my nonsense because a lot of what I say is like really nonsense, and I forget like I'll say something and forget what I said 5 seconds later. It's really bad.
Oh
The
my god,
one
I do
brain
the
cell.
same thing.
If like anybody who goes and watch my streams, like I don't think my VODs are up or anything like that, but like if you ever catch one, it's you'll literally hear me go, "Wait, what? What was I talking about?" Like a
I
hundred
I
times.
just did that the other day and everyone was on me about it because they're like, "What are
It's
you talking about?" I was like, "I definitely didn't say that." And they're like, "You're recorded.
yeah,
You
it's
definitely
exactly
said that." And
that.
I was like, "I didn't say that." And
That
it
happened
is
to
the
me the other
worst
day.
thing when someone turns that recording on you and goes, "See?" And you're like,
Yes.
"Oh man, I don't remember saying that at all."
That's like my very last stream. Somebody popped into chat and I said hi. And they were like, "Why did you say hi like Stitch?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I went back and watched the VOD and I can totally see how they can hear it. And I'm like, "What?" Like, oh my god, it's so funny. But yeah, I don't know.
That's incredible. I love it. I do it so much, and it's I've made a joke now on stream where I'm like, listen, I'll make a joke or I'll say like a funny comment or something. Don't expect me to remember it like 2 minutes later. I sometimes I just say stuff just because, you know.
My so like deep dive, me and my besties who are also streamers, I met them actually through the community, became IRL besties, and now we get
Hey,
together all the time. Like I love them. But we have a group chat and we have actually a board where like we have all the random things that we say written down because we're so chaotic sometimes, and like it's getting to the point where we need a new board. But yeah, but it's very much like that in streams too because I also, well, I have my medical card, so I smoke. So a lot of the times I'll smoke before
samesies.
I stream to get rid of my anxiety because I do
Yep,
get anxiety still before I stream, like because it is still intimidating for
of
whatever
course.
reason. Like so a lot of times I'll just be like, okay, we're just gonna say whatever's in our brain at this point because I don't think that chaotically. Like maybe un poquito, but like not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. I feel like all of it. I don't really have a whole. The whole thing is my favorite. Like seeing who comes in, seeing what they have to say, what they're gonna pick on me for today. Like I just whatever energy they have, even if they're having a bad day. Like that's sometimes my favorite too. Just talking someone through a bad day, like, because you never know how much that means, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, the interaction, especially, because, okay, maybe it's just that the interaction period, because from being a stay-at-home mom for so long, I didn't really have a whole lot of interaction because my ex was working all the time and it was just me and the kids, and they didn't speak at the time.
Well, and
But
the adult interaction is where it's at. It's not, you can only do so much, Nickelodeon, Disney, and snack time, and I listen.
literally,
I hear you.
literally.
I am a father of two wonderful daughters, and
Oh,
we are
girl dad.
going through the Peppa Pig phase, and
Oh
I
no.
hate it. I hate
No.
every
That's
moment
the
of it.
worst.
I hate it. And they're like,
Peppa.
"Did you know that Peppa can't whistle?" And I'm like, "Did you know that Daddy's gonna have a mental breakdown if we watch another episode?" Like,
Wait till you get to the Peppa Pig side of TikTok where they just like do the
no,
crazy. Oh my god, it's so bad.
no, I refuse. Please,
We
no.
we went through all the phases. We went through first. They went through a slight Cocomelon phase, but we got them out of that real quick.
Yeah, we were there for a while.
Blippy was there for the longest
Yeah, we were cool with
time.
Blippy and Mika and
Mika, yep.
what's our the one I actually don't mind. I actually kind of enjoy Bluey.
They love Bluey. Oh
I
man,
will
absolutely.
defend Bluey
I
till
will
the end
defend
of
Bluey till
forever.
the death. Yep,
That's what I'm talking about.
100%. Full send for Frodo, all of it. I don't.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I'm telling
Big
you.
Lord of the Rings girly here. Like,
Thank
no.
you. We are going to become best friends in real life.
Oh my god.
I'm a tattoo loving super nerd, and the Fellowship, all of Lord of the Rings are my big, like, I'll even for anyone
Guilty
listening, you'll
pleasure.
have to
Let's
go to
go.
YouTube, but I do
Yes.
have all of, like,
Stop. You're gonna die.
yeah. So
I
it's
have the White Tree of Gondor.
yeah. See, now we're cooking.
Let's
This is perfect.
go.
This is
This is
perfect.
top tier.
I'm telling you. So let's see. Tangents. I'm telling you.
I know for real. Both of us too.
Here's the thing, and as everyone who has followed this far with the show, I pretty much just let ADHD and following the dopamine pretty much just run my entire existence. So I usually will make an entire list of notes and get through maybe like 5 of them. Like, I don't know. So what let's go all the way to like the beginning.
Okay.
You've decided that you're going to start streaming. You're going to start putting content out to the world, right? What are your initial thoughts? Because I want to go from there into like advice. I think there's so many like
Mm-hmm.
myself who and I told you before. Well, I think it was before the recording, or it was at the beginning of the podcast. I don't know.
One of the
It's but I wanted to start creating content like back in like 2018, and it
two.
took
Yeah.
until about last year of 2000. It was literally November, December of 2023 when I officially like decided I'm making content.
Right.
So like in the very beginning, what were your initial thoughts? Was it nerve-wracking?
Um, it was just because again, I had this small Twitter following. It was only like 1,000 followers at the time. It was a good place at the time. Back then, oh, that was a great place to be because it was just so wholesome.
Twitter?
Animal Crossing Twitter
Oh,
specifically.
I was gonna say
Like
Twitter is kind of a
Twitter
dumpster
period.
fire now. Like
It's all over the place. Like it's hit and miss. I have such a love-hate relationship with Twitter. It's because it's where I have the main majority of my community.
right.
So it's hard, but like it gets chaotic and then it's great and then it's chaotic and I'm like, what are we supposed to do? It's on fire.
Going into Twitter with no community, it is very scary. Like which is entirely why I moved to Threads, because
yeah, that's fair.
nuts.
I just did threads on a whim. I wasn't even taking it seriously. Like I popped in and out for
Yeah, same.
months and then I did that one post. I like started posting a little bit and I was like, you know what? I want to find like new people on an app because I see a lot of people that I've never interacted with. And I was like, I
Yeah.
want to find some new people. And like a post like that won't do well on Twitter. You have to know like the algorithm a little bit. And it wouldn't like people don't take it seriously. It's too much of a competition. And then they'll just drop their link and it like that doesn't tell me about you. I don't
Yeah.
I get wanting to promote yourself, but you need to give a little bit about you before you just like put it out there. Because what if you just put it out there and I come and join and you're just not the vibe? Like, obviously, no skin off your teeth, but that took time out of my day. And like, I would rather take the time to read and know about you before I go there
Of
than to just
course.
go there. You know what I mean? Like, so, but as far as like, other than that, I don't know. Like, it was intimidating putting yourself in a like online space and again having the disconnect of like not remembering everything that I say. Like I didn't want to say some outlandish thing and then be like, oh no, like end of the world. It was easier in my opinion to start the way I did on console with no cam because it took a lot of the anxiety of,
Mm.
oh, I have to look a certain way, I have to, you know what I mean, type of stuff, or like what are they going to think about if I dye my hair or whatever, because people will run with anything at this point. But it took a lot of that anxiety away, so it was a little bit easier. Once I got my cam, it wasn't as bad because again, a lot of my community has already seen what I looked like since I did have a small presence
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter. So it wasn't so bad, but it definitely like I don't know, it picked up for sure. It definitely shot the trajectory. Like the difference between having a cam and not having a cam is crazy when it comes to live streaming. And like I understand it, but at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wonder if like they do that on purpose just because they feel like looks always matter, and I hate that. And I feel like that's why a lot of the VTubers and stuff became so big and popular. But it's finding a balance with all of it because everything could be positive or negative depending on how you look at it.
Oh, 1,000%. I wholeheartedly agree. I when I started doing the podcast, I was like, well, I mean, I'm already doing this part, and I might as well
Mm-hmm.
put some content on YouTube and stuff. And I got used to being behind the camera.
Yeah.
But I'm also at a point in my life where I'm like, look, this is what I look like. You, whatever you're gonna tell me, I already know. It's there, right?
That
It's
too.
not, yeah, it's
That
like
too.
I'm here for it, you know. But it's there. I luckily I have not run into anyone who has like attacked me for like the way that I look or whatever. There was somebody who did pop in at one point and asked if I had a tongue tie, and I was like, that is extremely weird of a question, but also I think so. Maybe
I
I
have a
don't
tongue
know.
tie.
Yeah,
That
I
that
was
would I would be like, how do you know that?
right. Yeah, and so it was
That's
it was a
crazy.
weird interaction, and then
Yeah.
they disappeared and never came back. So I was like, well, it
That's
was good to
insane.
have you. I was like, I'm happy. I'm happy that we got the view, and thank you for being there. But all right, whatever. And it was
Yeah.
weird. But most of the time, I just get bullied by my community for like the dumb things. Like
Yeah.
I'll die in a game or something, and they'll be like, "Have you tried not getting hit?" And I go, "Oh, thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Yeah, I didn't try that yet. Thank you."
Yep. Yep. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the best. Is your community really yours if they don't bully you? Come on.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
I
saying.
swear.
I love it. I
Yep.
love everyone in the community. It's so fun. And honestly, I think it takes a lot of the big pressure off of like trying to do streaming stuff. There's some times where honestly I've been having so much fun. I forget that this is being like broadcast to everyone. Like anybody can
Yeah.
jump in and see it. Like sometimes it just feels like I just have like a little watch party going on, and it's just fun. It
Yeah.
really is a truly enjoyable thing. So I feel like that kind of transitions into one of my other questions here. What are your thoughts on obviously we all want to grow, and the dream would be to, like, go big, have the break moment, and
Hmm.
as much as that is like amazing that we would all love to do. um is there, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the streamers who are so big where, like, the chat is moving a million miles an hour, there is no more interactions, and you it's my fear is that I do something one day that, maybe I do go big enough that I can't interact anymore, and that honestly, that is, like, genuinely half the fun of doing the streaming is interacting with everybody. But if I get to a point where I can't interact with people, then what am I doing? You know,
I Okay. I don't know if my take is going to be exactly what you're expecting,
I
but
I kind of hope it's not.
I so for the people who do make it big where the chat is just like scrolling by, they end up dedicating more time not just to the live streams, but they end up dedicating more time elsewhere to like communicate with their community, as far as like on a personal level, get to know them more. And there is still a level of communication that happens when the chat is scrolling fast like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see certain big streamers like notice reoccurring names that pop in periodically, or like, just, you know what I mean, like people who are there and come
Of
by,
course.
they do notice that. Whether they can like catch every message, they're not going to catch every message because it's physically impossible. And like a lot of people get really upset if they don't get their messages read or don't feel heard. And you have to be mindful when you go into something like that, because 9 times out of 10 those streamers did not expect to get that big when they did or how they did. So whether it's new to them or whether it's old to them, they're still trying to keep up and have an interaction and stuff. But that's when they'll put a lot more effort into their content. You know what I mean? It'll be less on interaction in a certain way and more into their content, and they branch out a little bit more, if that makes sense. So it's just the way they divvy up their time.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree it is nice to have like the content, the interaction with like the people, and like get to do every message. I have had a couple of chats where it's been like I can't catch up, and I like, you apologize. I mean, when you're smaller, obviously you apologize and like, I'm so sorry, like it's just going so fast, blah blah blah. Some people do specific streams where it'll be like subs only, or like specific VIPs only, or whatever, or hey, in my Discord, we'll host this type of night and we'll just talk and go, you know what I mean? So it depends on how you want to take control of your community and how you are able to accommodate with what you're given, I guess, kind of thing.
No, I love that, and I'm very happy that you said that, because as something I will, as I often do and will always do, I'll admit when I don't see that perspective, and I think that it is nice that I kind of see that now. It is something that, I've jumped into streams before where everything's just going absolutely nuts, and it's like I can't focus on everything all at one time, and so,
Mm-hmm.
like, I kind of sometimes I will back out. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But also I've gotten to a point now where I there are streamers that I enjoy that I will go back and watch, like, old things on. And then
Yep.
there are like the streamers, like, I'll call it like my streamer community, kind of
Okay.
like those who I have, like, had interactions with, or, like, have had on the show, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'll go and watch those, and I find that I, as a viewer and as a content consumer, have more entertainment when watching those streams than I do
Mm-hmm.
with, like, the big ones. But I'm really happy that you shared that perspective, because I did not think of it that way, and so that's cool. I'm
I
I'm
like that
happy you
you
did that.
brought up going back and watching their past streams and stuff, because that is another aspect. When I say the bigger streamers end up putting more time and dedication into their content, that is another big way they get a lot of people coming back and like reoccurring, is because they get to go back and watch their VODs and see that improvement in their content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you do make it bigger, you are able to do more with your content, because you know what I mean? You've got the backing behind it.
Excuse me.
If the finances are there, obviously, like you can figure it out. It's a little bit easier in that aspect, but the pressure becomes a lot more. And I feel like there's a disconnect between a lot of bigger streamers and smaller streamers, because the smaller streamers forget that the bigger streamers are also people too. And they,
Yes.
like, yes, the chat may be going, you don't know how they feel about that, you know what I mean? They could be freaking out and feeling bad for missing every single one. They could just not care, you know what I mean? They just enjoy that there's people there. It just depends on the type of streamer. I definitely have, like you were saying, streamers where it gets to be too much because the chat's just going, and I'll say a couple messages and then like just keep them tabbed or completely exit out if it's like too overstimulating for me. But again, go back and watch their streams because I enjoy their content, and then get to know them outside of it through other platforms. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's definitely like you got to look at it different. They are people too, and they're not going to be able to interact with the thousands of people that are in their chats. You know, and it's so hard, but they put a level of dedication into it that just kind of like most people, I won't say all streamers, all big streamers, because they're not all like that, but
Right.
you're able to tell the ones who like genuinely mean it, and then the ones who are like clout chasing or money chasing, you know, like you can see the big difference. And it makes it, I don't know, it just depends on the person for sure, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. I love your perspective on all of this. It's very genuine, and like I love that you're not afraid to talk about it. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I don't feel like we get too much of anymore. Whether not even just with like the show, with just a lot of things in general. I think
Yeah.
we've gotten to a point where sometimes people are too afraid to be how do I say this, genuine, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
I can see that.
it's yeah, it's different to like it's a different feeling to find those who are just so willing to be open about things. It's refreshing, I love it.
I'm very open because I don't want anybody to feel like they're ever alone, or don't feel like they don't have something or somebody to relate to. And you're never really ever alone. There's always somebody who's going to feel somewhat similar, even if it's not the exact same situation. Like, there's somebody who's going to sympathize and understand with you. And like, if I can do that for somebody, that makes me super happy. It gets taken the wrong way a lot of times. I love that you say like it's genuine, and I do try to be as genuine in myself and like as honest. That's what I get from a lot of my community, is that I'm honest. I keep it real with people. I take accountability like so seriously, but it's because I've seen the other side of it, when people aren't accountable, when you aren't upfront and like vocal with like your emotions, and not even just emotions, just in general, like just who you are. Like, I've seen the other side of it, and it's not a good place to be. So if I can keep it as genuine as I am, then I'm happy with that. If people want to interpret it as, oh, she's being fake, or she's however they want to spin it, you know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody who wants to take something you say the wrong way. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, but just staying true to who you are. That's all. That's all that really matters.
Of course, I love that. That's so ah, that is so refreshing to hear. I love it. It's so nice. Oy, I'll tell you, it's so. I love your perspective on all of this, and your content is so fun. I will admit, I've done I watched one of your, I think it was your latest one, the last one that is on Kick,
Okay.
and it was fun. It's a very how do I say this? Like it feels like you're not just jumping into somebody's stream. It feels like you're joining a room of friends who just haven't seen you in a while. It feels
Oh,
very
I love
homey
that.
and very welcoming. And when I was watching the previous stream, there were times where I was like, oh, I really actually genuinely wish that I would have caught this, because this would have been really fun to just have like interacted with and just have like talked and stuff. It really does feel like a very welcoming stream. So like I want a big shout out to that, because
I love
that is
that.
not an easy thing to do, and you do it so naturally.
You don't know how much that means to me. I appreciate that so much. I have always said, like, even from the beginning with my no cam streams, I just want it to feel like you're on the phone with a friend that you haven't seen in a while, or like you just need that time, like that FaceTime bestie time. Like, that's what I like. I embody that so much because I know what it's like to be alone and to just sit there with somebody and need somebody. And I've had so many people that'll just pull me up and while they're working, while they're sleeping. And whether it be they find my voice soothing, they want me to do ASMR, or they just genuinely like feel so welcomed and so like at ease. I love that endlessly. Like it means the world to me because that's all I ever want is to just make everybody feel like I'm giving them a big old hug when they come and just hang out with me because I'm just goofing off playing some video games or painting or like doing. I think I did one where I was building my kids' beds, like just
Nice.
random stuff, you know what I mean? Whatever I'm doing that day, it's just nice that they take time to come hang out with me. And I literally just want it to be like a bestie sesh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to embody that when I'm doing like my things. It is kind of interesting to just see like a long-haired, huge bearded, tatted dude hanging out, just being like, "Wanna hang out?"
Yeah.
Doesn't always work out the best,
Nah.
but it's whatever.
I mean, fair enough, but nah, all the good vibes.
Yeah, it's fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. But let's speaking of enjoying the stream, let's go into what you do in stream. What is your
Okay.
favorite game? Since we are a gaming podcast, uh,
Fudge.
what is your favorite
Okay.
game to stream, and what's your favorite game of like all time? I know you do a lot of like cozy games, which is
I
fantastic.
do. I do. Oh my gosh. My favorite game to stream. That's so hard. Like it
Yeah, no, don't worry. No one has answered this immediately yet.
it's
It is the one
impossible
question.
cuz
It
like
really
there's so
is.
many. It depends on the day. Like my favorite game to stream when I'm looking for a lot of interaction is Fortnite. If I'm looking for people to make fun of me, stuff like that, I'll play Overwatch. My favorite game that I get the most joy out of playing, honestly, it's gonna sound so corny. It's Stardew Valley. I like
Love it.
it's so easy for me to play that game and so well, you know what? I need to stop before I go there. I was gonna say it's easy for me to keep up with chat, but the way I waste days in Stardew Valley because I'll just stop playing and
Uh,
talk to chat.
Tell me
But
about it.
I get a lot of interaction on those days too because my content shows that I'm having fun and that I'm enjoying
Yeah.
myself because I'm like getting lost and just it's so fun. My favorite game of all time. Again, there's so many. Like,
There are.
oh
What's
my gosh.
let's say what it would be like your go-to. Like say like right now you're just having one of those weeks and you just got to sit down and you got to play a game that is like it's a comfort game. It makes you feel good. You know the game inside and out. It is just
Um,
something that truly brings you joy. Where do you
that
go?
would this is gonna sound so bad. Okay. So that would literally either be Palia, because that one within the past like year or two, whenever it came out, I've been big on that one. I've slacked a little bit, but that's the only one I'll still like go back to and I find it so calming.
Is that the
Um,
one where you got attacked by the goose?
No, that's Everdream Valley. I haven't
Ah,
played that one in so long. I need to get back into that one. They had a whole update and I just haven't even dabbled back
mm,
into it because my Switch has been haywire. The kids, I don't even need to go there. But I need to get back into
I
that one
believe
because
you.
they've added a lot to that game that I haven't even there's multiplayer and like you can play games in that one now too. So like new stuff. But no, Palia is it's I don't even know what to I think I don't remember the actual like label of it. It's just a fun like exploration game. There like you're kind of like saving a town or like trying to figure out how you got there kind of thing. There's all these characters to like play and interact with. You can romance people. You like, there's mining, there's farming, there's hunting. There's just a lot to do in that game. It's super fun. There's no fall damage.
Hey, there you go.
That alone sold me when I was like, there's no fall damage in this game,
like,
bro.
done.
Oh my god.
I'm
Yeah,
in.
to say less. The amount of times I jump off of cliffs in games and like forget that like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Yeah, I would say Palea, or honestly, even like Spyro. Spyro has been my childhood favorite forever.
Oh, there we
I
go.
love Spyro. Yeah, Spyro's always like, I know that game inside and out, at least the first one, and sort of the third. But like, I will sit there and just for hours, just mindlessly. That one will get me. So I guess those. But it
Love
depends on my
Spyro.
mood. Like, again, because if I'm feeling real aggressive, I'm going to want to play like Helldivers or COD or again Fortnite because I can goof off in
Hey.
that. But yeah, COD a little bit. Un poquito.
Yeah, listen,
Like,
listeners of the show know me and COD have a bit of a love-hate relationship. We loved it
Completely
before,
understandable.
and then it I've said it a billion times. Listen, last year, Call of Duty guys, like, come on, you
Yeah.
definitely shit the bed. We got to really work on this. Like,
I'm hoping this new one is
I
going to
am
be
looking
like,
forward to it. I am
yes.
so very excited for it. I'm a big like I love like the zombies. Like I love, you know, what COD used to be.
Yes.
But
I agree.
we've had a pretty bad track record. And really ever since like Warzone came out, everything's really kind of plummeted in my opinion. So I'm really hoping that
See,
you know, Black Ops 6 really kind of takes it back for me. Because if
I
not,
agree.
I think I'm done. I think I'm done Call of
That's
Duty.
fair.
Like I'm wasting money at this point.
Yeah, that's valid. When Warzone came out initially, it was so fun. It was great.
Yes.
The vibes were immaculate, and
Oh,
then
I
it
loved
just
it.
like dove really
Yes.
fast. And I like, we gotta do something to bring it back for sure. So hopefully it will be worth it. Because I like other games like X Defiant, or there's another one that came
X
out.
Defiant's really good.
X Defiant's fun. Like, I like games like that, but sometimes you just want to be like old Call of Duty and like just let us have it.
That is 100% what I'm talking about. I've been trying to find a substitute for a while, and it's just nothing is really replacing like the old like Call of Duty feel, and that was where it was at, and that's where I'm really hoping that, you know, Black Ops 6 comes back to. And it was kind of interesting to see in like gamer news when they kind of confirmed what everybody was kind of thinking for the last like couple years with like the pretty insane high in fluctuation of cheaters, and it was like, oh, you're just mad because you're not good at the game. But then like last year they were like, hey, we ran the numbers, and it turns out there was a huge company like making millions of dollars off of like selling cheats to our like softwares and stuff. And we were like,
they actually listened?
Yeah, you're like, oh, you mean we were right? Like I would really appreciate the next game with like a big old I'm sorry sticker stamped right to the face of it. Thank you.
No big facts. Gosh.
Like it was ridiculous, but
yeah, absolutely.
So Stardew Valley, yes. I've dabbled. Turns out I don't think I'm very good. I also went into the game completely blind. It was actually the very, very first game that I streamed. Because really? And I was afraid that like all of my technical issues were just going to go absolutely AWOL. So I wanted to play a game that was like something that I felt that I could just kind of ease into and deal with, you know, the technical stuff on the side. And I do remember like I played the game. I think I started streaming it on like day 4 or something. And then I had a really nice like whole like big plot of farming. I was like, my goal is I'm just going to make a bunch of money, and then I'll get into like the game and like everything that I'm supposed to do. And then summer hit, and all my plants died because apparently the season doesn't allow your plants to grow. And I was like, oh, awesome. So now I'm going into summer with like $2 and absolutely no crops. So I'm
Yep.
like, this is
Uh,
awesome. And now it's gotten to the point where I don't think I'm playing the game right. I don't know if I'm playing the game right because I play the game and I spend the entire day watering all of my plants, and
it's
then I
like
have
that
just enough
sometimes.
time to go back to bed
Hmm.
before I start getting penalized for being out too late. And then that's just the whole week. And then I'll get a notification or like a letter or something, and they'll be like, hey,
Yep.
can you find me like four, I don't know, seashells, or I need, four
Hmm.
whatever things of whatever. And it's like, go bring it to Sebastian. And I'm like, you got it. And then I'll get those things. And I'm like, Sebastian, brother, where are you? It's been 8 hours and I have no idea where you're at. Where are you? Like, come to the
Yep.
center of the hall or give me a phone number or something. I'm like, I'm wasting days looking for you. And then I finally find
Literally.
them and it's like, oh, I needed those a week ago. And I'm like, you know what, Sebastian? I'm done with you,
I'm
buddy. Like,
I'm gonna tell you right now, as a beginner Stardew person, your best friend is gonna be the Stardew Wikipedia page because they have all the little cheats in there that you need to know. Like
good. I'm going to save that
I
right now.
I swear, I promise you, it's such a lifesaver. I have like a little guide that I actually got from some of my viewers for my throne that they gave me, like that tells me like specific things to help throughout the game, and I've it's come in handy several times. I Stardew, I jumped into it completely blind too. All these people have been playing it for years, and I had just heard
Yeah.
of it 2 years ago. It was the first time I've like ever whatever. So I've never made it past year 3 in the game because I restart a lot. But
I'm
restarting a
like in
lot,
month 2,
listen,
maybe.
listen, the best thing in my opinion is to do a lot of restarts because then you get
Yeah.
the hang of it, you know what I mean, the beginning aspect
Okay.
of it. You start the first couple days with the farming, like you farm and then you go and meet all the people and then you come back, then you'll get like your fishing pole, so you'll start doing that. Once your farm gets big like that to where it is like constantly watering, that's when it is handy to have all the other stuff because you'll level up other things like mining, whatever, and that's how you'll
Right.
get like the sprinklers and whatever, and that helps with the time and the energy
That's what
for
I'm trying to
sure.
get.
Yep.
Because
And
I'm like, I'm
sprinklers are
over here
such a
just
lifesaver.
wasting time
Yep.
watering these
And then
things.
all your energy too, not just the time, but your energy
Yes.
depletes so
Uh,
fast, like it's insane.
well, and I'll tell you what, I had no interest. I to be honest, I didn't even know what Stardew Valley was in the very
Yeah.
beginning, and it was only because I got really into Animal Crossing in 2020 over COVID. I
Oh
was like, boom,
man, that was the
this
best
is
time to
it.
be in it.
And I was so into it. And then like
Yeah.
now I was like, well, I want a game like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, I want to kind of experience something. And then every Google search was like Stardew Valley,
Stardew
that's where
Valley.
you need to
Yep.
go. And I was like,
Oh my
cool, awesome.
gosh.
And I'm like, it's
No,
nothing like Animal
it's
Crossing.
not. It's
It is
not.
an entirely new beast. And the
Yep.
one thing that drives me crazy is I got so used to like Animal Crossing where I could water like 6 plants all at one time and do that nice
No,
little
no.
sway sprinkle
One
thing. And
by
this
one.
one's just like you get one plant, choose it, and also it's gonna take so much energy for you to put some water on the floor. And I'm like, great, thank
Yep.
you. And then I
Yep.
got to go find a lake to go fill my water can up because
Oh
apparently
my
my
god.
house doesn't have running water.
There's
I
a
don't know.
pond at the bottom.
It's
There's a
yeah.
pond.
I
Yep.
got to keep going down there, and I'm like, you'd
Yep.
think, maybe I'd put a hose or something at
You
the
can build a
house, and I could
well.
just kind of. There's so much I don't know about this game.
It's definitely, so Animal Crossing is very like cutesy, very girly, and then Stardew Valley is like the crazy rabid older sister because I swear to God, there's so much in that game. I still play it and find like new things that I had no idea were a thing. Every time
Yeah.
I stream it too, and I'm like, I sound like a broken record. How many times I'm like, I didn't know this, but it's every time. It's so fun. But that's part of the reason why I like it because every time I do play, I find something new and like, oh, this happened. This is like a blah blah
Yes.
blah chance. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm having that exact experience playing. I'm a super nerd. And but I love I love like all of like the nerdy communities. I love like TTRPGs and Dungeons and
Okay.
Dragons. Like I'm
Okay.
very nerdy. And so there's a game that is basically Dungeons and Dragons in
Baldur's
video
Gate.
game. Bingo.
Hmm.
And I love that game so
I'm
much.
curious about it. When it first came out, I was very like, my ex wanted to get into Dungeons and Dragons, like actually, like the cards and stuff like that, the game. And I was like, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. And then Baldur's Gate came out, and they were like, oh, it's pretty much the same thing. And then I have a lot of friends who are like heavy into it, and I'm like, this looks kind of fun, low key. Like I'm curious.
Listen, throw the offer on the table now. You play it, I'll play it with you. It is
Hey, I'll keep that
so
in mind for sure.
so good. It is
I
such an amazing game. I am such a sucker for it, and I love. I'm also I love like backgrounds, which is a lot of the reason why I do this podcast and stuff. But I also love when very very talented people create amazing things that I love
mhm.
unbelievably much. And so there's a character who's one of your companions in the game named Astarion, played by Neil Newbon. And I am
Okay.
such a fan that I found him at a convention, waited in
As
a
you
line
should.
for like 3 hours, and I got a picture, I got an autograph, and I was a happy little kid right there, and it was
As you should.
so nice. Like
Oh my
to the point
gosh.
where like I am paying real dollar bills to have this thing framed and put up in my house.
I no, I love that. The way I would die to meet the girl who like voiced Mercy or even Sombra, because I was such a diehard for them when Overwatch 1 came out. Like
Mm-hmm.
so I get it. And funny actually, I'm going not to like location dox myself. I'm going to the Tampa Comic Con on next
Nice.
Saturday,
Nice.
and I get to meet I love her so much. My bestie, they are both going to meet Elijah Wood. So she gave me money to either meet
What?
Elijah Wood or Andy Serkis, because Andy Serkis is also going to be there, and I'm a Gollum girly, so
Are
I was
you
like,
what?
I swear to God, So like
You,
I get the vibe of wanting to meet somebody like that. Like it
I'm
brings just so much
so
joy.
jealous.
I can't even I like when she told me, because I was just down to go. I was like, I'm just down for the
Of
vibes. Like
course.
let's just go, and I'll wait like while you guys do your meet and greet. And then she was like, no, I'm not gonna have you just stand there. And I was like, that what?
Yeah,
Like
you're going with us.
yes, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Like full send.
Sorry, you don't
And
have
I
a
just
choice.
like literally that. I'm like, oh, twist my arm.
Yeah.
But I started crying because I'm like, this is like fulfilling something in me that's like a childhood thing. So like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so good. So like, I 100% resonate with like the feeling of like waiting in that line and like doing the thing, meeting the people that like bring you joy, because that like I live for stuff like that. Whether it be going to concerts, this kind of ties back into the like balancing thing. Anybody who's seen my content for a while, especially this last summer, I've been to so many concerts. I have been to so many like different things that I just go and do. The aquarium, like I have been focusing on getting out. I've always been more of an indoor person. Like I like doing things outdoors, but I
Same.
like doing things outdoors by myself or like
Yep.
with one or two people, like small, because too many people, I get like anxiety.
Yep.
But I wanted to tackle that a lot this summer and like do better in that aspect, and also put more energy into my real life and experiencing things. So it's been such a great thing. I'm going to DreamHack in October in Atlanta. So that'll be my first
Nice.
convention. I'm nervous about it, but it'll be, well, other than Comic-Con, that'll be my first one technically, but it's just a lot of new stuff, and like it definitely you have to figure out what makes you happy and finding like putting that into it. And
1,000%.
I can't wait. Lots of
Do
good stuff.
you, uh, well, first off, Fantastic. I love that.
Yee.
I also I love doing the the conventions. I love like meeting so many nerdy like-minded people. It is some of my absolute favorite things on this planet. I also typically can only handle like maybe 2-3 people hanging out. It gets a little much. I am the I'm and I openly admitted I am the person who like in big like crowds or like get-togethers and stuff. I'm the one that'll like excuse myself to the bathroom just to
Yep.
like hang out for like a minute. Just be like, hey
Oh, a
man, like
hundred percent.
we're good. Have that talk in the mirror. Be like, you're good.
Yep.
Take a breath. Do the face where you just kind of mind melt for a minute and you just blankly stare into space, and then you come back and you go, all right, we're good. And then we go
Yeah.
right back out there and hey, what's up? Hey, I'm good, and kind of thing. And so I get a lot of anxiety, especially when like it comes to being in crowds of a lot of people. And something I think I've learned about myself this past year is that it is interesting how I do not get anxiety while I'm at conventions. And I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because I feel comfortable with being around so many people who probably also feel the exact same way that I am feeling right then and there.
Yeah.
Where if I get too close to somebody I don't know, I'm like, I'm so sorry, and I try to space myself out. They're
Yes.
also probably thinking, hey man, back
Back
up.
up. Yeah.
So it's like
You're in my bubble, bro.
yeah, 100%. We're both on the same page, and
Yeah.
I get so little anxiety when I go to like conventions and stuff. When I go to concerts, though, completely different story. Usually, I have to have like a couple drinks or something before the show, or
Oh, hit that
we have
Benjamin a few hundred times.
yeah, I
Like
got my pen and stuff.
yeah.
It's where it's at,
Ooh.
honestly. But what it's not because like, and I've been asked this before. It's like, oh, because you don't think you're gonna be able to have fun or like no. I
Has
don't think
nothing to do with
you're
that.
gonna have fun being around me. Like
Yep.
we need
I'm
to
saving you for
control
myself.
bingo. We
Like,
need to control
yes.
what's going on in here so that
Mm-hmm.
you have a good time.
Literally
Because if
that.
we don't, you're
I'll
gonna be
be
babysitting an absolute nervous wreck the entire time.
I'm not even scared to admit that. Like 100%, if
Yeah,
I'm having a bad time, you will know it, and it will just not be. I'm not trying to make everybody else miserable either, but it's very apparent, and like I can't. So like I'm trying to save you from myself, because if I get
100%.
overstimulated, I can get mean. You don't want me to get mean. Like
Oh,
like,
our
and especially at big places like that, because then you're also like beating yourself up because you're like you're letting these people get to you, and then the other side is like, well, they did this, like who cares? But like you just it's so much easier just to be by yourself. So I'm a little nervous about the conventions. I hope it's going to be that vibe of like I'm not nervous once I get there, because everybody does have like a similar mindset.
yes,
So we'll see. It'll be good either way. We'll be prepared. We'll figure it out.
I'll tell you, we are so much the same person. This
I
is
swear, like
so nice.
people will come to me and be like, you seem like this bubbly, friendly, like outgoing, I want to meet all of these people, like type of person. And yes, I am like that on a one-on-one or like a small group setting, but the minute you get me out in public, I become mute. If you come up to me, I will absolutely become that person for a second, and then you'll see it crawl right back in, because I get
Yes.
so it's too much. There's too much going on. There's too much to focus on. Like I can't handle it.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I've always been super honest about it. Like it is something that we kind of get to. It's not unfamiliar to us.
Yeah.
We understand it, but also we've lived long enough to know that we're not perfect, but we have our ways to adjust to those things. And it's
And you're working on it, you know what I
yeah, of
mean, whether it
course.
be adjusting or like trying to do something to change it so it doesn't occur anymore. However you deal with it, you're doing something and putting energy into bettering yourself. So like that says speaks volumes.
1,000%. It's that's so wonderful. Um, let's go into so for starters, I definitely would love to have you back on the show again.
I would love
I
to.
feel
It'd
like
be
we
so
have
fun.
so much to talk about. Um,
Yes.
I would love to leave the viewers off with one last question.
Okay.
And that is, what are your goals that you have set for yourself? Where do you see
Ooh.
this going in the future? Where do you want to see this going in the future?
Um, honestly, this is going to sound so bad because I've always been a very goal oriented person. I've slowly tried to become more of a go with the flow because streaming is such a uncontrollable space and it's gonna fluctuate. However, you're gonna have really good days, you're gonna have really not great days, you're gonna have a lot of viewers, you're gonna have not that many viewers or chatters or however you want to look at it. So you kind of just have to learn to like roll with the punches
Of
type thing.
course.
um I'm sorry, what was your original question? Proof,
Yeah.
literally right there. I was like, I started and then I completely spaced.
I love it. What
Oh my god.
your goals
Yes.
for
Okay.
streaming
Goals.
and your
Right.
self goals, whether it could honestly it could be where you want to see the your content going, or any goals that you have like for future content.
Okay. That. Thank you. Sorry. I
I
was like,
got you. No problem.
get it together, girl. Oh my god. I do try to go with the flow, but I feel like some of my goals would definitely be I want to get affiliated on Kick for sure. I really do love that community and I want to dedicate a lot more time into it specifically. I do have a love for Twitch. I won't lie, I can't say that there wouldn't be a bitter feeling over losing my old account because I had just had 500 followers. Like, it's a lot of time and dedication. So it has put like a bittersweet taste in my mouth, but I don't
Sure.
completely shun it away because there are so many great people who are on that for specific reasons, whether it be that's what's allowed in their country or that's just what they're comfortable with using because it's
Of
so
course.
widely used. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to dabble into Kick a lot more and dive into that. The conventions has been another big goal of mine, is to try to go to a convention. I was going to try to go to GCX that's in Orlando this weekend, but that didn't work out. So DreamHack was the next best one. So that is a goal I'm super looking forward to and ready to check off my list and take that in for what it is. But I'm ready to take it like a little, not more seriously, but dedicate more time into my content and
Absolutely.
definitely let myself shine through a little bit more because I feel like I put a lot of energy into making it this happy, fun place. And I do want to dive into more like, I do a lot of painting for like therapy to help me like just deal with things. And I've gotten a lot of people that have reached out that like want me to stream that, want me to include that. And that's not normally something I do because it's more of who I am.
Sure.
And when I stream, I like to make it more about the viewers and them more
Yes.
than it is about me. And I know not everybody feels that way because it is my space and stuff like that, but that's what I want to utilize my space for, is my community and what they need, what they're going through. And yeah, I'm going to play what game I want to play, but I'm still going to put them first always.
Uh,
Um
yeah, of course. And I do want to comment on that because I think what you said is actually like genuinely extremely important. And I think as consumers, even though, we create content, we also consume content nonstop.
mhm,
And something that I think is oftentimes overlooked is that, somebody may love your content so unbelievably much that they just want to see all of the content, everything that you can create. But also for like our own mental stability and mental health and enjoyment of our own personal lives, there are things that we enjoy that we keep away
mhm,
from the public. And
mhm.
if painting is that thing where like maybe every so often it gets shown off or something, but like painting is your thing, it
Yeah.
is 1000% okay to like remain as your thing.
Absolutely. And that's something like just within myself and how I've kind of tried to always be that, like, hey, I'm gonna keep things to myself, like, because I'm a very closed off, like, very isolated person. I'm cool being by myself. I'm good like that. I don't need a whole lot of interaction. Like, a few, I like to interact with the few people that I call like in my circle
Of course.
specifically. Other than that, I get like, it just gets to be too overstimulating. So like painting is that thing that kind of brings me down. It's going to be a balance of, because I do enjoy it and I wouldn't mind letting my community see that side of me, but it's going to have to be like on my terms. And that's
1,000%.
goes into like finding the balance type thing, because you do have to keep some things separate as far as being on an online space.
Yeah.
You have to remember that like there are people online. You can't control everybody who sees your content, but you can control the content that you put into the world.
Yes.
So you have to be mindful. But I, at this point, if the internet wants to see a little bit more of me, I feel like it's not that big of a deal if it's painting. Now, journals, diaries, that thing, absolutely not. That's, you know what I mean? There's lines.
No,
There's lines. We're not.
Yeah, of course.
No.
Yeah.
But just letting them see like a little bit more of you instead of just like the persona that you put on behind screen. I know a lot of people are like how you said you're the same person you are on the podcast versus how you are in stream versus how you are in real life. Not everybody's like that. A lot of people try to do it up for stream, and I feel like this is a way. I don't do it up for stream. I feel like I'm a little bit more friendly maybe, and like more bubbly, or like hi, like the high pitched customer service type.
Yeah.
But
no, I do the same thing.
This would be a little bit more of a laid back, chill, like, and that's, I do try to do some of that content. That's why I did mix in like building my kids' beds, or I'll do baking streams sometimes, like just different types of things that show I'm not just this cozy gamer or occasional, you know what I mean? Occasional streamer. I have a little bit more going on to that. So it's finding with what you're comfortable with sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like I'm a very open, transparent person. That doesn't mean that I'm going to tell you everything, you know? And especially when like I stream, and I said this before we started the recording. I'm very aware that I have a very boring face. It is just, you know, the emotion
Boring?
doesn't always just
with that beard,
pop out
get
there.
out of here.
Listen, it is the only thing hiding whatever I haven't seen in there in years. Okay, this is a defense mechanism. It's
dedication it takes to maintaining and keeping it good, sir. Don't do yourself like that.
Listen, I
not
love
everybody
it, but
can do that.
Oof, I'll tell you, but it is one of those things where it is something that I'm very aware of. I also am very open about, you know, not always open about my feelings towards it, but I am very open about like I've always had like a stutter. I kind of have found ways to manipulate it, and you know, so that it's not, you know, I'm not stuttering all the time, but it does every so often, you know, kind of peek its head, and I will take a lot longer pauses. Because it's not because I have this like, oh man, he's really into his thought, he's really breaking it down. No, I'm just like, I'm trying not to glitch out here, and it's like, you know, like it's like things like that. Like I will always be like super, you know, open, and you know, I like being bubbly and goofy and super accepting. And I think it is funny to me sometimes when we do get someone who's just discovered, you know, me, and they're like, hey, you know, you don't look like how you act. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that, you know,
right?
Like it's like you, I mean, in the podcast and stuff, you only see like my shoulders and, you know, my head and stuff, but I'm a very tattooed person, and I have a very big beard with like long hair, and then, you know, people expect me to come on there and just be like, rah, 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 and I'm just like,
big old grizzly bear.
I love everything.
Yep.
And it's like, you know, it's very.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm very. That's who I am, and that's who I will always be, and I love that about myself, you know. And but I will say the one thing is, you know, is we do have people who listen, who are, who I do work with. they will absolutely disagree because my work mindset is very different.
Let them
I
disagree,
take my work very seriously, and
as you should.
I struggle with people who do not put forth basic effort, and that drives me crazy. And so
Yes,
when I'm at
sir.
work, it's I can be I look and probably sound very angry. And so then when I see people like outside of work, and I'm like, I love everything about everything, and they're just like, and everybody's very confused a lot, and I'm like,
Yep.
good, stay confused, like keep you
We mix it
guessing.
up just to confuse you.
Hey, I love it. I definitely absolutely need to have you on the show again to talk more
Yes.
about gaming and everything else going on in your life. As an update for a future episode and stuff. I would
Yeah.
absolutely love to have you on again, and I think we should definitely be friends in real life and talk about literally like Lord of the Rings for days.
Give me all the Lord of the Rings stuff.
I
I'm
am
here for it.
so
Please,
in.
please.
Actually, I don't know, I think I have another Lord of the Rings tattoo somewhere. Um,
Stop.
it's yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see. There's the
Uh,
broken
oh,
sword
yeah, yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
So
my
it's
God. That's
yeah. I'm all over the
amazing.
place.
I
Um,
love that.
so at the end of every episode, I always love to keep the floor completely open for you to shout out, plug, selfless,
Plug.
anything.
Oh my God.
If you had a drink you had yesterday and it was amazing, shout it out. Where we
Okay.
can find your content, where we can find you out on social media and stuff. Like list everything and anything, and then when we
Okay.
finish recording today at some point, I'll just send me the links, and I will always go back in the recording, making sure that I have every single thing, and we always post them in the description of every episode.
Okay. Yeah. So I am Sarahtooswift again for those who forgot or whatever. That's
Write it down.
literally my handle on every social. You can literally find me on TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, like all the places. The only other shameless plug I really got is, again, I am a men's mental health community manager for Alpha Dogs. They are a top tier organization. I love them wholeheartedly. Everybody in there is like so amazing. Just plugging them. They have a Discord server. You can follow them on Twitter. I think it's Alpha Dogs GG, I believe, on Twitter. They're not so active on Instagram or anything, but they really focus on peer support and ending that stigma behind men's mental health, because there is such a negative stigma that surrounds it, not just mental health in general, but specifically for men, because nobody thinks that men are allowed to get help and be okay with their emotions. And we're here to show you guys that it's okay to talk about these things, and everybody goes through something, and you're not going to be able to work through it and process your stuff if you don't like come to fruition with it. You don't admit it at the head. So they're very big on letting everybody know that you're not alone. And it is a gaming community too. We have community nights, all kinds of fun stuff that goes on in there. So drop them a follow, go join. It's super fun over there.
I
And of
love
course,
that.
come see me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's
Yes, of
end this
course.
one
Thank you
with
for
a
having me.
super fast. What is one fun fact about you that no one else will know? It's our exclusive fun fact
Oh my
about
gosh.
Sarah Too Swift.
Exclusive fun fact that nobody would know? Oh no. Okay, this is gonna be so crazy. My mom, when I was 10 years old, we still have the dog. He's still alive. He's fine. She like,
Oh, okay. You scared me there for a minute. We still have
my
him. He's
mom,
in a bag somewhere.
no, no, no,
I
no,
was
no, no, no,
like,
no, no,
what?
no, no. He's alive.
I was.
He's very old, but he's alive. I promise. My mom likes to play jokes on me, and when I was like 10 years old, maybe I was a little bit older. I don't know. It had to have been, because homie is not that old. I don't even know how old I was. Maybe like 15. Anyway, she called me because he was my dog that I picked out. We had a litter of dogs. I picked him. We kept him. So she called me one day and told me she was taking him to get shots. And then she called me an hour later and told me that he didn't make it and that he died. Just for me to cry my whole day at school. I come home and he's laying there sleeping on the floor.
What the fuck?
So like, that's when I say when my chat roasts me, or like I have such dark humor, obviously from losing my dad too.
I love it.
The joking, the dark humor. Like I seem very bubbly, friendly, but I can dish it out. So like it's all good. I swear to God, he is alive. He's fine.
Oh
but
my God. That
yeah.
is amazing. Well, that absolutely knocks my fun fact out of the park.
Stop.
Yeah, no, mine's not even. I was just gonna say. I was gonna say, literally up until I started streaming, I didn't realize that I spelled my name wrong for the last 8 years on all of my game things. Yep, it's Phoenix Stewart, and it is PhoenixStwrt. And for the last 8 years, it has been spelled Peonixstw. So for years, up until I had to create my accounts, I did not realize that my name was misspelled for the last 8 years. So
that's amazing, though, honestly, because that's so like that just happens, like a normal spelling thing. That's good though.
Yeah, you know how much of a pain in the butt it is to go through all of your stuff and be like, well, now I gotta switch these, and then you got to go through. And they're like, you can't change your name for another 3 months, and I was like, I wasn't planning on it. And
yeah, that part. Oh man, that would be a pain.
Man. Well, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you, Sarah. You are incredible. I cannot wait to see more of your content. Everyone out there, please go check out Sarahtooswift. And as always, please go outside, feel the sun on your face, look up at the sky, hug a tree, and high five a squirrel, and we will catch you on the next one.